Morning everybody. Week 7 of my landscape challenge, and today I'm coming out to a place called Los Toruños, still in my local town because we're not allowed to leave the town yet because of the lockdown. I think today's challenge is to try and find some of these salinas that look interesting when you're, because a lot of them are very just linear trenches of dirt dug up to capture the water. Try and find something interesting, maybe a reflection, maybe a contrast between the green and the green of the grass around the slopes and the reflection of the sky in the water. Some of the heathers type things, they're not heathers. Some of those are quite interesting, so maybe try and find something there. Get 2 or 3 pictures today. I didn't come out for sunrise today because I'm meeting somebody for a bit of a hike in a few minutes, so I just thought I'd make the most and try and get some pictures in before we meet up. Very lucky today. We got a nice sunny morning. Oh, too bright. And the idea today is to get some of these things behind here. They're called salinas, which is where the salt comes, sea rises, water evaporates, and when the tide goes back out, the salt gets left behind. And there's another one. Found some abandoned cortijo, Spanish villa over here, and I seem to have awoken the beasts. We'll be getting ready to swarm and attack soon. I'm getting very close. They'll be coming for me soon. Dive bombing. Getting ready to dive bomb. Yeah, there they go. Oof. Will be getting me in a minute. So I'm going with the polarizer for these shots. Gonna try that. Often don't, for the main reason that the last time I put one on the camera, it took me about 2.5 hours to get it off again. So just the trick is always just to get it on just tight enough to still be able to unscrew it afterwards. And just to give you an idea, this is the difference you get with the polarizer and without the polarizer. Obviously you lose the reflections in the water, to be honest. I think I prefer the reflections. Maybe shouldn't have put it on anyway. The sun's come out now, and it's making nicer shades of blue and green. It's been cloudy up until now, but my time is running out, so I'm just going to swap lenses, put on a 1740, leave the polarizer, stick the polarizer on there very, very carefully as well, and head back to the car. I'm going to meet up with my walking buddy, and it came off really easy. And see if we can get fingerprints all over the filter. See if we can get anything on the way back. So far nothing to write home about, but very pleasant morning, apart from the seagulls, my nemesis. You know, last year alone there was 20,000 people lost their eyes to seagulls in this area, and I don't know how many fatalities, but they have it in for me. Alfred Hitchcock was right. Okay, let's see how we do with the wide angle. Well, that's the end of week 7. Another locally confined landscape challenge. It's been a nice morning. Just got back from a walk with Javi as well, around the same area we went, so I did come a little bit later than usual, so the sun was already up, but the sun actually broke through a little bit later on. Lots of nice blue and green and yellow and everything to look at, which I didn't get many photos of. I got my 10,000 steps in for the day, and nice walk out Saturday morning. Let's go back and see what we got. It's week 7, so things should be improving, but I fear they are not improving thus far. Let's go and see what came out. Apologies for the dog fight in the background, if you can hear that. This is the final image that I've come up with this week 7 of my landscape learning journey. I like this one because there's actually a curve in the river. Not the river, it's a salina. Curve in the salina. And there's like a sluice gate over there on the left hand side, made out of poles of wood. This is good. I like the sky. Sky is breaking through nice and blue. Contrasts with the green of the riverbanks, not a river, salinas, and the reflections in the water there. So I got this one walking back to the car after the sun had risen a little bit higher in the sky. Didn't get too many images this week. You've seen the ones I got throughout the video. With this one, what I'm going to do is the same as last week, is take you through the editing process on Lightroom. And once again, apologies for the dog fight in the background if you can hear that. See you all next week. Thank you. So let's take a look at the image we're going to work with today. I'm only going to work with it through Lightroom. This is the picture I've decided to work with. A little bit of one of the salinas there, but it has a bit of a curve to it, unlike all the rest, which were really linear. So the first thing I'm going to do is stick the profile into landscape. Okay, gives it a little bit more of the blues and the greens, I think, than a normal standard profile. Pop down to lens corrections, remove chromatic aberration and profile correction. Okay, flattens out the image a little bit. Next thing, just check that I have my horizon straight. I think I do, yeah, good. And then all I'm going to do is work with the exposure a little bit to begin with. So I'm going to brighten it up a little bit, raise the exposure here a little. Probably try and sort out the histogram a little bit. Take the whites up until the histogram starts to nudge at the edge there on the right hand side. That's here. And then I'm going to take the blacks down until we get the same thing. Okay, we're getting there. So blacks are touching the bottom of the histogram. If you see the clip and triangle there lights up as well. So I'm going to leave the blacks around here. And then after doing that, what I'm going to do is take the highlights down in the sky. Quite a lot. It's not making a huge difference just yet. Okay, maybe around here somewhere. And then the same with the shadows now. Just lift them a little bit. Maybe something like that. That's the basics. So the next thing I'm going to do is work on the sky, which is still a little bit too bright. So I'm going to take a linear gradient and pop it on here. Press Shift to keep it level. Pull it down to about here. Okay, and if we go down to show mask overlay, what I don't want it to do is take any of the grass. So I'm going to go to brush, I'm going to click erase, and I'm just going to go over here and make sure I don't include this grass over here. for those two sticks that are breaking through the skyline. Okay, just something like that, more or less. Okay, turn the show selected mask overlay off, and then what I'm going to do with the sky is just bring the highlights down even more, maybe reduce the exposure a little bit, push the temperature towards blue, and let's see what happens if we play with the contrast a little. Just pop the contrast up a little bit. There we go. Sky looks a bit more dramatic now. Don't want to go too crazy. Something like that. Maybe saturate it a little bit. Okay, and then we can see the effect that's had just by clicking it on and off. Okay, we're happy with the sky. Next thing we're going to work on is the water down here. So I'm going to take this filter here, do the same again, show selected mask overlay. I'm just going to paint over the water here a little bit. Once again, make sure I don't get the sticks. Hit the erase. Just come down here on the sticks and the grass. Okay. Okay, so that's my layer. I think you can change the color of that if you're not happy with the green, but we'll just stick with the green today for the mask overlays. And then I'm going to do the same here, give it a bit more blue and a little more contrast. That doesn't do too much. Okay, it's starting to look good. And then finally what I've noticed is over here there's a couple of bits of, this is all just broken brick and stuff that they've used around here to make a track. And there's just one in particular there that's standing out, this white one here, so I'm just going to use the healing brush, and I'm going to paint over this white one here, let it pick another area, and then this grey one over here, just let it pick another area. Okay, that little white one was catching my eye a little bit too much. Okay, and then what I've noticed is on the right hand side here there's a little bit of a tree getting into the frame, so I'm just going to crop the frame down a little bit, down here, being careful because I see over here there's a bird coming in, so I'm going to leave the bird up there on the left hand side, crop that in, click, done. Okay, and then finally just to maybe draw the eye in a little bit, just darken off the side of the frame. Okay, to basic. Let's see what it looks like with more or less contrast. Happy with that. And then let's try color grading. Maybe we'll end up deleting this in a minute, so we'll take the highlights and give them even more blue, and we'll take the shadows and give them a little bit of an orangey look. Drop that down so it's only 5% and 5%. Turn this on and off, see if it actually makes a difference. If it does, it's so minimal I can't see it. Okay, and I think that's it. Call that the final image. This was just a quickie this morning as I was waiting to meet up a friend to go for a walk, so I'm fairly happy with that. It's not spectacular. Actually, I think what I'm going to do now I'm looking at it is just take another mask here and maybe drop it down this side here. Let's check what we got. Okay, erase the grass up here, something like that. And then all we're going to do with that one here is maybe just darken it a little bit so it doesn't draw the eye so much. Okay, there you go. So that is today's image handled in Lightroom. Okay, and just to look at what we started with again, I'm just going to hit reset. Hopefully I can click undo afterwards. Okay, that was the original image. And this is what we've ended up with. Maybe a little bit too processed, but that's okay. There we go. How's that? What do you think? Any good? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next week for week 8, which will be the end of 2 months on my journey of learning to be a landscape photographer in confinement.